If you want to use footnotes or endnotes in your manuscript, Microsoft Word makes it quite easy. Put your cursor where you want the note to be, and then go over to Insert. And in my version of Word, you do go down to Reference. I think it's a little bit different in other versions of Word, but it'll be similar enough that you should be able to find it. And then whether or not you're doing endnotes or footnotes, you click Footnote, and here's where you choose which exact one. So in this case, let's put in a footnote, and bottom of the page, or immediately below text. For example, if you had, I guess, a page that was only half full, standard is bottom of the page. You can choose the format for the note indicators, the asterisk or numbers or whatnot. Conventional style, as I understand it, is asterisks and crosses and these sorts for footnotes, and endnotes would be numbered. When I do endnotes, I do like to use just regular numbering. It's a lot easier for other people who are reading it to be able to find it. You know, people are still learning Roman numerals, I suppose, but even people who have learned it, most of us, it takes a little moment of you know, trying to translate it in our heads back to regular numbers. So I encourage use of regular numbers. Anyhow, we're going to do a footnote now, and you can change other features to it. We're going to do Insert. I'm going to say is author of this essay. Okay, and now what I can do is I can just double click, and I'm back up at the top. And another thing I can do is if I hover over it, I can see it. So if, let's say, I'm reading along, blah blah blah, and I get to a note and I don't want to drag myself down or lose my place, I can just hover over it and I can see what that note is right there in place. So that's a little bit of a convenience. I find that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, perhaps depending on how long the note is. So let's say this is a complicated document that has footnotes of that sort, but also endnotes. So let's put in an endnote now. Put my cursor in the place that I want it. Insert, reference, footnote. I'm going to switch to endnotes, and the numbering is how I like it. I say Insert, and now you'll see it's brought me down to the bottom of the whole document, and that's where endnotes go. And I can say okay, and again I can double click and it just takes me right back up to where I was. I can then put in another note, or here's something I can do. I can highlight it and drag it if I wanted to move it. It added a little extra space, so I'll do that, get rid of that space, or do edit, undo, or if I move a whole sentence, let's say I want to move this whole sentence and this note gives the reference to that sentence, I'll include that, and I drag that whole, highlight the whole thing, drag it down to here. Now it works fine. So I want to now, let's say I forgot to put in a note here. I will insert another endnote here, reference, footnote. It's set to endnote, good. And you'll see, well, let's cancel. See, this is number 1. We moved it down to here. I'm putting in a new note above it, and you'll see that the system automatically accounts for that. Insert. See how what used to be note 1 is now note 2, and now our new note 1. And it has changed here as well. If you are going to delete a note, put the cursor right next to it, click delete, and it highlights it. Gives you sort of a chance to think about, are you sure you really want to delete it, because it's going to delete everything. Both the indicator here in the text, I hit delete again, now it's gone, and if I go down to the end of the document, you'll see that the whole note has disappeared, and that'll be true for footnotes or endnotes. One other thing is, let's say you have an endnote if I go down to, or this footnote, let's say I want to change this footnote to be an endnote. I go to the footnote and I just right click next to it, and I can I can convert it to an endnote, and let's see, did it do that? Yep, it converted it to a numbered endnote because it knows the endnotes have this style, so it did it like so. And where there was an asterisk, there's now a number. And then I can also, here I can right click next to it and go back to my note options, and I can change the numbering format. Let's apply, and now it changes the style for all of the notes. And this, you do the same thing for the footnotes too. So you get those kinds of options. Because I do a lot of work with a lot of footnotes and endnotes, I have actually added buttons to my toolbar. This one is insert footnotes, this one is insert endnotes, and I apologize, I don't remember exactly what the process that I went through was to add those. It wasn't super hard, but it was a few steps and I don't really remember. So I won't be able to show you that in this tutorial, but if you are working on documents that have lots of footnotes or endnotes or both, then keep in mind that you can do that, because it'll save you some time. You just get to click, and there you are, another note. And that is weird. It has misnumbered them. Let's go back. 1, 2. Huh. It's showing it twice. I don't know why that would be. Just funky, just a little display error on Microsoft Word's part, because there it is, still there, and now it's correct. So nothing works perfectly. Shouldn't be news. There, if I hover over, do I get a... There. So as you can see, sometimes it'll show you when you hover over, sometimes not. Maybe if I move the cursor out of the way, maybe that has to do with it. The cursor gets in the way. And I think that's it for footnotes and endnotes. Hopefully you'll be able to use them as you need to.